This is the Real Estate Power Play Podcast, getting you the information that you need to be a successful real estate investor. Hosted by Mark Monroe, Ronnie Walker, Gabe Rodarte, and me, Marty Grizzanti. Combined, we've done thousands of real estate transactions. So get ready for real stories and true case studies on finding deals, growing portfolios, and making money. Welcome to the show.
What's up, everybody? Good morning here in Central America. We got a couple people over here in the East Coast. What's up, East Coast?
Yo. What's going on? How are you? Let's go.
Fantastic. Let's do this. Okay, guys, what's up? Welcome to Power Play. We are here live every Tuesday at 11 Central, 12 Eastern. We got my Eastern friends are over here, and Mark Monroe from Florida. What's up, Mark?
Hey, how you guys doing? Gabe, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Beautiful weather, beautiful life happening over here. And then we have Marty. Marty, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's up, boys? I'm doing good.
What's up? Marty from New York, good. Upstate New York.
Yeah, Rochester. We got the sun. We're popping right now. We're good.
We're good.
Things are flowing.
So guys, we wanted to, for those who are just hopping on or doesn't see the comments of our title, we wanted to go over just creating your brand, marketing yourself. There's really not a correct way that we were talking about offline that you can market yourself. But I think that getting into real estate investing or any type of business, it's one of those things that if you're new to it, or maybe you have a job or a career that doesn't require any of that, right? And you're just, how to maybe flip a house or do real estate, but you don't know how to really get your name out there or get yourself out there. This is a topic that Marty is very passionate about. Mark's been doing for a long time, and I run the North Houston Real Estate Investor Group. So it's for North Houston. We've been doing that for about 6 years now. So I know a little bit about that. So we want to give as much nuggets back to the community to just be our big give. This is something that we want to do this week to just really help you grow your business. So let's just start off with Mark. Mark, we were talking about this offline. What is something here that just kind of brought up? You're just like, you know what? Why are we talking about this right now?
I mean, it's really what grew us of where we're at. And I think we've kind of learned it. It's all really about the networking. And when you're networking, how you're branding and how you're presenting yourself to the community, through social media, even in your local community, when you're out there networking, just like Gabe, I've seen some of the stuff that you've done, and I still got to get out there. I want to go to one of your events one time. I see hundreds of people showing up at that thing. And it's like, it's mind blowing how many people you get to go to that thing. So, every one of us has a different way of how we brand ourselves. But, for me, the number one thing that I want to just put out there is when you're branding yourself is make sure that you're presenting yourself as always being truthful, upfront, and, just good character and doing the right thing by people, just snowball from there. That's kind of what I'm going to start out with. But go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, we'll keep going more. Marty, what about you? What's a good overview of why we're talking about this, and why are you saying, man, this would be a great give?
Yeah, I think it's a way to just exponentially grow, and it's a way to also be uncomfortable. This is not the simplest and always the most fun thing to do, honestly. But I know how important it is. Is the marketing and letting people know who you are and what you do, because you need to. People need to know who you are, and the more that people know who you are, the more willing they are to work with you, right? So like if you have if you can create I don't want to say an aura, but really that's what you're trying to create is when you come around people, they go, oh, you're the real estate guy. Like you're the one that buys those properties. And it's like, yeah, you want that person to know you before you know them, right? Because then there's already a sense of familiarity. There's already a sense of trust. It's like, I've seen your videos. I saw that podcast. I see the meetups, right? So when you're doing those things, it can absolutely grow times 10. It will times 10 whatever it is that you thought you could do on your own without doing it. So it's a must do for people who really want this to be their, lifelong career.
Right. And you guys are totally right. And I just want to add in my perspective of we're talking about creating a personal brand, and out of doing a personal brand, there's a couple highlights there, and there's really great benefits of creating a brand. And Marty alluded to a lot of those. We're going to go into those deeper today, guys. Also going into some of the tools and little ways that you can just do a couple tweaks here and there and get your name out there a little bit more. But it has transformed my life by getting myself out there. It has been uncomfortable in many ways. There is definitely areas where people will come up and critique some of the things that I do, and it's odd, and sometimes it's awkward, or maybe I make a crazy, comment that I didn't really like. I didn't think through all the way, or maybe I just didn't have the words for it. And so, I'm fumbling through things and trying to figure out how to do it. Peter just said on here, yeah, it's just putting yourself out there. So we can clarify in this conversation of what is putting yourself out there. So Mark, let's just we'll go over some of the perks, because I want people to really dig into the Nugget side of things. But we'll go over the perks later on, but what are some of the nuggets that you use on, it's second nature for you now, that we're not just talking about networking. We're talking about how are you coming across, right? Professionalism, stuff like that. What's something that you can help maybe a newer investor or maybe a newer business owner highlight, not just networking, but what are some of the tools that you would say? Definitely.
Yeah, I would say, and everybody in real estate investing have said this, is like, yes, we are real estate investors, but when you're trying to find great deals, you're really marketing yourself, and it's really about marketing. And a lot of people say, hey, we're more of a marketing company than a real estate company. So you really have to kind of think in that mindset a little bit. But, back to, yourself, creating your own brand is being genuine, doing what is right and helping people out. I'm a big believer of giving it forward and getting a return. Like I've been in some of these groups and I see people like, hey, I need help and whatever. And these people are, charging these coaching classes one-on-one, which is great. I have nothing bad about them. I think it's great. But what my model is, and how I learned the business is, let's just partner up. I'll show you what to do and mentor you, but you got to do the work. I'm not going to do the work for you. And just kind of go through it and like start out here and just kind of work with people. And I'm a big believer, if I help them out, it comes back in tenfolds, like what Marty said. So that's why I brand. And branding is just, besides finding deal, it's just also, branding is also getting capital, because people see you out there, they want to do business with you. I'll go in a little bit more deeper what I do offline and how I raise capital and how I meet people. But that's really what it comes down to for me, is just going out there and just helping people and giving. And that's why we created this podcast, is we want to give back to the community and help people out if they're growing. And I can't tell you how many times people reached out, and I'm sure to all you guys, hey, I got this deal, I got this question, and I throw my calendar link up there, and somebody's just scheduling a call with me. I have no clue what the call is. I jump on a call and like, hey, what is this about? Are we talking about land? You got to, it just happens. And, I'll take, 15, 20 minutes and kind of give my input and help them out if I can.
Yeah, that's huge, man. So guys, Mark has a brand of being a big giver, right? So that's one of the things that he's really good at. That's how we're all really friends, is really because Mark has been such a great giver in so many ways that, you just build friendships that way. And so this is a great testimony really for even our friendship, of how we got started at a simple conversation and how can I help you grow your business? That is a great aspect of it. Marty, what about you? What's a good first step tools that you would say building your brand?
Yeah, I think it's number one, letting people in your, close circle know what you do. I think there's like a stigma, I guess, against telling people that you invest in real estate. You might not quite believe yourself. So you really got to get over that. So number one is, creating this mindset that you are a real estate investor, and being okay with letting other people know that, and being okay with them going, you're a real estate investor? What do you mean? Like, what the messed up part about all that is I'd say 99% of the time that won't ever happen. But that's a reason why people don't do it, is because they're like, I I don't know. I don't want my, my cousin saying this or my best friend saying that. They think that, it's like, guys, if they do care, that's their problem, not yours, right? You're out there trying to do something better, trying to make something happen, trying to elevate your life and your game and doing something that's incredible. So yeah, number one is just let people know in your small social circle what you do. And then I would say start putting it out there on social media on what you do. But that's a mindset shift. And it took me quite some time to get comfortable with doing that. But once I did it, then, we just opened up the hose and, let it go.
Yeah, you guys are doing amazing. If anything, one of your perks and one of the things I rely on you is just asking certain questions on like, hey, how are you marketing yourself socially, right? And social media. And I think that the younger generation, meaning a generation that may be 30 years and under, this is just normal, right? So if you're getting into this and you're 30, 35 or older, you might be, it's now current. Like you kind of know you got to put yourself out there to some degree on social media, but Facebook is really the common place. It's the marketplace. This is where people can know where you're at. You go to group chats and you go to group things. And when I share my stuff with people, they go, oh yeah, I don't really have Facebook. I know that they're probably not in marketing and they probably either do a work or how they create income for their family or for themselves is not typically something that requires a lot of sales, right? Because that's kind of what Facebook is really good for, is getting yourself out there. Same thing with Instagram, really getting that story out there. So you said some cool things. We're going to touch on social media. That will be maybe in a couple minutes down the line from now, guys. Okay, cool. So Mark, you mentioned pretty much being a giver. Marty's definitely talking about putting himself out there. One of the things I like, guys, about what Marty is saying is you have to overcome the mental obstacles, basically, of putting yourself out there more, branding yourself, marketing yourself, and going from there. What is something, Mark, that you see is more of a roadblock you see in some of the newer, younger investors or business owners that, I mean, you've done, for those who don't know, Mark has owned multiple companies throughout the years. And you've seen a lot of different stuff, even from sales teams and people like, hey, you gotta let people know what you do. And as far as your marketing for sales teams that you used to run, what are you seeing kind of like just a roadblock that has helped, that you can help them go through? You're muted right now.
Sorry about that. Thanks. I think Marty touched base a little bit on this. Is really, it's the mindset, and somebody new and they don't feel confident because they don't know what they're doing well enough. That's probably where a lot of the roadblocks happen. And then also even myself, when I started doing this, I was like, oh my God, all my friends, there's friends and family. And I'm like, I kind of wish I created a separate profile account just for business, because now I have more people for business than I actually do my friends and family now. So it's just kind of overtaken. So I feel bad sometimes, my friends and family I'm pushing this on them and I don't mean to. So if I do, I apologize out there. But I would say to your question there, Gabe, is like somebody new is like, getting out there talking and they feel like they don't know what they're talking and they're not informed on the product yet. So what I would recommend is just finding somebody with experience and just partner and kind of make them your mentor a little bit and kind of work hand in hand. They're there to help you out and everybody's here to kind of network. I know one of the things, and when I first got into it, was like, oh no, I don't want my competition knowing what I'm doing. And that was kind of like, but you really want to network and make that competition your partners, and you guys can do deals together, make money together. That's the beauty about real estate, because it's, the pie is a little bit bigger, so there's more to go around to share with, rather than your own deals that you're working with people. Does that make sense?
It does. That was good, Mark.
That was good. That's good. Marty, what is something that, just to kind of tag off of that you see, because you've grown tremendously in like 3-4 years, and now you're at a place of just seeing so many younger guys, younger ladies coming up to you and going like, how did you do this? What is a roadblock that now you see looking back that you're going, oh, I could help you out through that?
It's urgency. I don't think there's enough people that have enough urgency. And they also think like that they're not going to die, at some point, right? Like I'm really urgent, and I think people are waiting too often to say, well, I'm going to start posting when I flip this house, or I'm going to start posting when I buy my 5th rental, or I'm going to start that podcast when it's always like, I'm about to do it, right? So Gabe, that's all I always hear Mark and Gabe is like, yeah, I'm about to, or I'm working on. It's just do it. Guys, you just do it and you see what happens after. You know what I mean? You ready, fire, aim. And you just kind of go back and say, okay, how'd that go? Because it's not going to be great your first couple posts or your first couple just, self-marketing, or your first going to meetings and telling people what you do, but you work on it just like anything else. And I guess a tip would be too with that is start to develop like a 30-second elevator pitch on who you are and what you do, right? Because when you are going to places and you're starting to put yourself out there, because that is marketing, guys. When you go to those networking meetings, that is a form of marketing. That is a form of self-marketing and selling people, because they're going to go, oh, this guy or the girl, okay, she's new or they're new, and all right, what are they all about? So if you can have like a quick little snippet of like who you are and what you do, that will open up for other people, that when they go, it's not like who you are, but it's more like, what can this person do for me? All right, this person's new. What can this person do for me? That's kind of like that background of what people are thinking when they ask you, who are you? It's what can you do for me? So if you can solve those problems and answer those with a 30-second little elevator pitch on who you are, I think that will really give you confidence when you start going to those
That's
meetings.
Beautiful, dude. And I want to expand on that, because I think that's exactly what Mark was saying, where you don't know your product very well. You don't know what you're trying to do and accomplish. So this isn't just about networking. This is about the message that you're putting out there into the space, into the universe, and you're looking for a return. And the return is just relationships, money, deals, whatever it might be. You're creating a brand. I think one of the things to expand on the elevator pitch is really write down, and this is how I advise other people, just write down what you do. Okay. Write down the space that you're in. So I'm looking at buying more rental properties. Okay. So you're a buyer. Like immediately, okay, so you're a buyer. So you can expand on that. So I'm looking at buying more rental properties, and I'm also looking at putting some people's money to work. So I'm looking at both right now. These are the areas of town that I'm looking at, and this is what I do to make it work. And it's just a small pitch. It's not super long, right? And this is for real estate investing, because we're owning other businesses now. I know we're all kind of doing different types of businesses as we grow. I run a couple businesses. I put my teams together, and then I borrow my friends' money and I put their money to use, get them better than average returns on their investments. And then, I buy properties and I fix them up, and we do different stuff with them. And I try to be more vague now that I have the more experience, because I forget I can ramble, right? And now I'm talking about a deal, right? Or I'm talking about something. And this isn't a networking event where I'm talking about a deal. Like, you want to put that thing out there to let people know what you do, and that what are they going to do in return? Marty, you do what? Well, yeah. And then Marty's now engaged in the conversation. Now Marty has this conversation back, right? And he can expand more. Well, what do you mean? Well, I mean, what were you saying about real estate? Well, yeah, I mean, we buy properties. My partner and I, we've been doing this for a couple of years. Like, he can now expand into a better conversation, more in depth, but you have to put that first feeler out there. And I think people, what I've seen, guys, is that they're a little nervous to have that feedback, right? Of like, wait a minute, what do you do? And I was nervous about that, because I kind of live in the area that I grew up in. Like, I'm about an hour away now from there, but still on Facebook, I run into people every now and then from high school or whatever, from, way back when I moved and I came back, and they're like, oh, what are you doing now? And they're not asking, guys, like, what do you do? Like, what? They're actually going like, wow, what are you doing? Like, that's how I look at it, is like, I'm the actor in my own movie. I'm the lead role guy. Like, I don't think people are going, are you crazy? I literally people going, wow, that's amazing. That's cool. And so it's just kind of looking at it from a different point of view. Right. And I know that's right up Marty's alley. So he likes helping people. Yeah.
No, I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
Hey,
totally.
I want to give a golden nugget here, based off of what you just were saying there, Gabe. Something about like, what do? You start talking to friends and family, and they're like, and this is something, if you're new in real estate investing, if you're talking to our friends and family and they're like, oh, I would love to get into real estate, but I don't have time. Right there is a golden nugget. Like, oh, okay, that is your private partner that you can work with and use their capital. If they have an IRA or 401k, you can use that capital to deploy in assets so you guys can take down together. So that's it. Just keep that in mind. If you ever talk to somebody and they bring that up, oh, I'd love to get into real estate, but I don't have time. Oh, let's talk about maybe teaming up. Let's grab some lunch or coffee and kind of go from there. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Mark, because the other thing is with that, guys, a lot of times you're having conversations anyways, right? People are gonna say, how you doing? What do you do? And the thing about that is, like, say it, tell people what you really do. Like, what are you really doing? Yeah, actually, I'm working on a couple flips right now. It's going crazy. It's amazing. Like, really tell people, and they're like, "Wow, flips? What do you mean?" Right? Or like, "Yeah, no, I've been pounding the pavement. I've been talking to a lot of homeowners, and I'm looking to buy properties right in this area of 123 Main Street. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know that area. Actually, I know my cousin Bob actually has a property over there that it's been vacant for a year. So like, those are little things that happen just by having the conversations. But like, I think a lot of people, Gabe, Mark, I think they're just like when you go, "How you doing?" "I'm good. How are you?" Like, boring. "I'm bored." Boring. Tell people truly, like, what's going on. Well, to be honest with you, I'm actually having a really tough time. I've been trying to get into real estate, and I am, I'm making phone calls and I'm learning this stuff, but it's crazy. "Do you know anybody that do it?" "Yeah, I know Mark Monroe, actually." And then boom, so whether it's going good or bad, whatever, it doesn't matter. But just tell people what it is that you're doing or trying to do. And I think so many people are just trying to be like, "Yeah, well, no, it's going good. Oh, going good. Yeah, going good." And it's like, dude, just freaking having a real exciting conversation.
So I want to ask Gabe a question, because out of all of us, all four of us, Gabe is probably the master at this. Gabe, talk a little bit about like your networking group, how you put it together and how you meet. That's huge. You know what I mean? It's got to be a lot. And I know, Marty, I'd like to talk to you afterwards. I know you're doing something this week and we'll get into that, but let Gabe go first and then we'll ask you the same thing.
Yeah. So, whenever people ask that question, it's kind of, I try not to be too vague on it, but the short answer is, we just wanted to get a group of people together that are all like-minded, that are just trying to build knowledge, understanding, do deals, and learn real estate investing. And that's how it all got started. I have a little bit of a knack of building relationships with people, and I'm a pretty easygoing guy. And I like to ask the extra question of like, "Hey, how are you doing?" "Cool. Well, how's your business?" Or "How's your life?" or "How are the kids?" or whatever. And that just led to me building other friendships and relationships in the business. And by me doing that, we created a networking group. The networking group started growing. And I like to take the approach that Mark and Marty have is, how can you give back to the community? How can you help other people grow? What would you want to have happen if someone were to come back and train you up at, the beginner level or even years before that? What are uh-ohs or mistakes that you wish you knew? Just certain things like that is what I got started in. And then I just started building out the relationship. I mean, we're doing a deal. We just raised $2.5 million from our networking group. Okay. So that's sweet. And that was from one guy who's like, "Man, I've known you for 5 years. I've only met you 2 times, And so that's it. Like, he's only come to my group twice, but he knew me and he came into a new product that's been, kind of different. But 5 years ago, he didn't have that product. So here's the truth about creating your own brand. If you can be consistent over time, building your name, having good character, doing good business, and you keep going over time, you will be successful. And I don't think that people have the foresight of longevity of what they're doing in their life. I think they're only looking for that one deal. And the people I've seen do that, they don't stick around very long, right? Because they end up creating a bad name for themselves. So if I can mention anything, is after you listen to this podcast and you hear this out and you put some of these tools into place, understand this is going to take time. Marty's going to go over some of his marketing that he does online, which is legit stuff. And we're going to go and help you build your business, but it's going to take time. And the reasoning why is you got to create your name, you're creating your brand, you're recreating in some occurrences, right? And then people have to see it and they have to talk about you. You want them to talk about you. That's hopefully great stuff. And maybe 2 years, 3 years go by and someone comes up and goes, dude, I got a deal. I've been watching you, or ma'am, they'll go up to my wife or something and say, I saw, like you guys are going vertical. Awesome. And then they'll bring a deal. Right. And then what happens is things just start churning. And that's what you're aiming for. That's the point of a brand, is that you're in it for the long haul. So if you don't, after you listen to this, listen to some Gary V stuff, because Gary V is all about the long haul projection of, you got to love this game. If you like real estate investing, you have to understand you need deals and you need money, and you also need a team to help put it all together. And you need to create your brand. And how you're going to do that is learning how to market yourself. And marketing is a long-term play. And what you're doing is creating the funnel. And this is what's key, guys. The funnel is you. You're the funnel. Okay. You're the funnel, and you're putting this other content in there for people to see it. And the thing that drops out is better relationships, better funds, better deals, better everything. And it just takes time.
That's
so
amazing.
Good.
That's amazing.
So
Great,
job,
great.
Gabe.
A lot of great nuggets there. A lot of great nuggets. Marty, how about, I know you have something coming up this week, and I know you've done some different events. Talk a little bit about your events, and also, like, how did you build it? Like, how do you get the name out there, and how do you just keep growing it?
Yeah. So we have, we have an event in July. We have the Go Big or Go Bigger event. And, let's kind of start from the beginning of
because
that, right?
Big is not big enough, right? Is that what it is? Big.
And that's with my buddy, Matt Druin, who is a developer, owns, several hundred units, just absolute savage of an investor. And then of course, my partner McGuckin, right? the 1-2 punch of upstate home buyers. But yeah, that started with going to that first meeting, which was Matt Druin's meeting, right? That was Matt Druin's event. That was his, the RE Coffee Club, or the Real Estate Coffee Club for Rochester. And, it's a mindset, guys. I'm going to go back to mindset there, because it's like, you go there for the first time and you're like, you're sitting down with these people that are doing big things. And now looking back, that, just 2 years later, we're holding an event together, right? So it was my first time there, and now we're holding an event together, right? So, and I don't mean to beat on my chest, but I'll say that where the mindset shift was for me was that I expected to be there now. I expected to be that type of person. So in order to be that type of person, though, you gotta do the types of things that, those types of people do, right? You keep your word, like Mark was saying. You're a person that is a person of high integrity, right? You're a person who, even when you are going to maybe lose some money on something, you still do it because you said you were going to do it, right? And those things, I think, help give you the confidence to do those bigger and bigger things of posting yourself, doing videos, going and starting a group, because you have those wins that you're saying, hey, you're keeping those promises to yourself, right? Because your mind knows if you kind of dirty dog somebody, and then you should be someone who doesn't post things. You should be someone that people don't aspire to be, right? Because I aspire to be someone that people aspire to be. So that's kind of who I want to be. And so, yeah, I think it starts with a mindset of, what's the type of person I want to be? Do I want to influence people? Do I want to inspire people? And do I want to aspire people? Because that's the top level that you can possibly be. And I will say this for the people that are starting, because I was too, and I still am. I'm still in certain situations where I'm starting, right? I want to know, because I'm going to be going through pain, right? Because this is this pain of like, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I haven't failed, right? I'm just struggling, right? So you only can fail when you stop. That's what people need to know. You only fail when you stop. Right now, if you're struggling, and in some areas of our business, we are, I want to know who the Marty is after I get through that struggle, right? Because I know that Marty is going to be better, but I know there's going to be another person I have to become, right? So we're always evolving. So this is a way for people to evolve, is doing the self-marketing and self-selling and self-branding, because it is a mindset shift of someone going, oh, geez, I can't imagine doing that. Well, start imagining yourself doing it, because the win in the return is so much better and so much greater than that little bit of effort you put in to start. So that's what I would say.
Nice. I want to something I just want to talk about, since you guys both have groups, and something, it's a little easier nowadays because you guys, social media makes it easier. But I remember years ago when I first walked into my first networking group and I didn't know anybody. To be frank, I've actually turned around and walked out my first time. I did. I was terrified. I didn't know it. I turned around and walked away. I'm like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know anybody here. I don't know anything. And I remember this was years ago. And so I just want to talk about that a little bit, because I'm sure this happens to a lot of newbies. What I would recommend is two things. What I'd recommend, because everybody's going to have this fear of going and meeting people they don't know. Most of these groups have these meetups have a Facebook group. Try to find that Facebook group and go into it and start talking to people and just getting to know people. So then if you get familiar and you see them on social media, then it's a little easier walking into a meetup, because you've already chatted or you saw something online. The second thing, and I would recommend doing this in business and sales overall, is, and this is what really opened up a whole world for me, is not just me, I just help. Just go to a restaurant lobby bar, right? Go to your restaurant lobby bar and have dinner there with your partner, friend, buddy, whoever it is, and just start talking to people sitting next to you. And that will make you feel more comfortable, start networking and talking to people. Plus, one drink doesn't help either.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
great advice. That's great advice.
Good.
I know Mark's won many times doing that.
Yeah, I'll drop a huge nugget on this one. And I think this is the first time I put this out there. I usually keep this to my buddies. I think you guys both know this one. One of the best ways of how I raise capital, and I think I might have mentioned this to you guys, is I'll look for a convention that's a business convention, and the business owners. Me being in South Florida, one time down at the Ritz-Carlton in Key Biscayne, they had what's called the family office. You guys are familiar with family offices, correct?
But explain it, Mark, for people that don't know.
Yeah, why don't you explain it for me, Marty? What it is?
Well, for my understanding, a family office is a hedge fund almost. It's somebody who's managing very, very ultra, at the tippy top percent of people's wealth. So it's family money, but it's a business, because it's, hey, this has been in the family for so long, so we need to be able to keep this money, right? We need to be able to make sure we stay rich. So they hire, or they have organizations that basically invest families' monies for them. So yeah, it's like a hedge
Gabe,
fund.
you want to piggyback off of that about family office?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's pretty much it, where you have people that have funds, right? And you have a family that has a lot of funds. And so a family office, though, they can actually manage multiple estates, basically, is what they're doing. So there's a lot of funds in those type of conventions, and they're finding out how to put the money to work, and they're learning new things about how to keep the wealth in the estates, basically.
Yeah. So anyways, they had one down here at the Ritz-Carlton. They had a family office convention. People from all over the world were flying in. And just to walk into the door, this thing was going to be $3,000. So what I did is I knew where it was at the Ritz-Carlton. I just went to the Ritz-Carlton lobby bar, and guess who was there? All the people from the convention, all out there having a drink, and just started networking. So I've done that. And then another one.
It's a slick trick, Mark. It's a very slick trick. It's a slick trick, and everybody should.
And then there's another one. I actually, there was a cardiac convention that was at out in Las Vegas. And, not being a physician, I can't get in there, but I knew which hotel they were at. I actually jumped on a plane, flew out there, just hung out at the lobby bar, and just started networking. And that particular trip, I ended up raising about $450,000 of just from physicians that wanted to put the money to work. So that's just a good nugget. just put yourself out there and network. So I usually keep that one to myself, but I know I've talked to you guys about it, but
great.
So anyways, Gabe, I'll let you take over. I apologize.
Yeah, it's good to keep to just keep looking at opportunities, right? And again, the topic today, guys, is just working on your personal brand. How are you putting yourself out there to where people are responding? How are you looking? What are you doing? Someone was mentioning, I don't know which one of us is, what do you do at networking events? And now that, networking events are coming more live, and what do you do? Mark had a great tip. Go to the pages, go to the Facebook page, see what kind of characters are in there, have conversations in there. This is one that I would give to those who are majorly introverted, or you're almost perfectionist mentality, is act like you're scoping out the land, right? When you go into these places, you probably won't be, let's just be honest with yourself. You're going to go there. You're not going to be building relationships right away. Okay, let's just be honest with yourself. You're not going to be out there, be the Marty or the Mark. Just you don't know your pitch yet. You don't know your whole lines yet. You don't even know what you're really doing. And just go there and scope out the land. Just take a look and say, okay, what's the language? What do I need to look up? What do I need to research? What's the conversation like? When I'm introducing myself, introduce yourself and go, you know what? I don't have an answer for this one, right? Like, you're going there to get better. And that's kind of the thing that I think is the biggest jam up for a lot of people, of not realizing that you plan on doing this for the long haul, right? So why not go and try to get better? And that's what really Marty and Mark is really hinting towards, is like, how can you become a better brand? And you don't know unless you go and you start figuring this stuff out. Like, you can research it all from online. And there's plenty of people I've met that do it online, and they go, I got everything ready. Got the postcards. I got the name card. I got the badge. I got this. I got my other stuff. That is like 1% of people that is willing to do all that work before they even show up. The reality is, life is busy. You got kids, you got family, you got other stuff, you got work, you got other things to do. Get out there and start working the grid, right? And start getting out there. I want to keep going, guys, and touch base on how Marty and Mark and us are using social presence now, right? So we have a brand. We know what we're doing. We're talking about real estate investing. We're talking about how to get our name out there more, or how to build relationships more, or really what are, like, how are we presented? How are we looking? Are we looking scruffy every day? Are we like, what's our style? What's our brand? Like, it doesn't really matter. All I'm focusing on, like, there's many different ways to go about this. Marty, what is something that you guys have, like, just, this is just what we are. Like, we try to be this, we try to be that, but this is just what I figured out what works.
Yeah, it's a great question, because you don't want to be fake, right? But you also don't want to, you also don't want to just put everything out there, right? That may not be applicable to your audience. So I would just say, be true to yourself, man. Like, I'm a backward hat, kind of talk trash, say whatever I have on my head, but I'm also, that's how I am. And I really think that if people just try to be that way a bit more, just trying to, be you, and it's okay if you're not the smartest person in the world, and it's okay that if you may stumble on your words at times, and it's okay if you are very excitable, right? Sometimes it's just who you are. So I think if the authenticity of being who you are is how you really can sell yourself to a lot of people, because it's refreshing, right? Like, so many times people are just like, they're just too stiff, and they're uppity, and they're just trying to be what they think they're supposed to be. And guys, that doesn't work. You get sniffed out real fast from people that are, that have been there, done that, and they can tell right away if you're being true or not. So, but if you are just being yourself, it's refreshing. It's something new. And I think I can tell you a lot of times it's exciting, and people want to talk to those kinds of people. That's what I would think.
What are you using right now, guys? Let's just say, if you got a newer people now, we're on YouTube on here, Facebook. We're going to put this on our Instagram. We're on all different things. So obviously people are hearing us from this. And then we have this all goes to the podcast. What is something that you're going, okay, Instagram, this is what you should be doing, you know, or Facebook, at least go back and comment like these other things. So I'm not asking for how are we interacting, but how are we marketing yourself as a brand?
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I usually in the morning I'll have my cup of coffee and sit outside, and it's so peaceful, my meditation time, if you will. It's just calm in the water. And I'll usually sit there and jump into, I got a couple groups that I'm part of, and just kind of just put something out there and just respond to people. And then, at night, if she's sitting there watching The Bachelor or something and I'm not into it, I'll just sit there and play on there. However, she does give me some crap sometimes. You're on social media too much, but I'm really not, but then I'll go a day or two without doing anything about it. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I do a lot of stuff with LinkedIn, especially, on the networking on a different type of clientele, like, especially in the land development stuff that I'm doing over there. I do a lot of network or on the LinkedIn side. On the Facebook side is just kind of getting out there. That's where I find the residential. That's where I find bird dogs. Like you guys know, I got about 450 bird dogs out there, just through many different ways, and just mentoring different people. So it's kind of where I'm at. One thing there, Gabe, that you said, and I kind of cracked up a little bit. Like when you walk in the room and you walk into the room and you scope it out and see what it's all about. The best analogy about it is, I use an analogy like this before we went live about, Marty's mic working. Whereas when you walk into a place and you're scoping a room, look at it like if you're looking at, like, if you're not married or who your partner is, look at who that the same concept of, like, who do I want to go up to and who do I want to talk to? So it's kind of that same concept as like back in your college days, you're going in there, you're trying to meet your other half or something like that. It's that same thing, but now you just got to change your mindset towards business. So.
That's excellent. I love that, Mark. I think that's great. And I would say, for what we're doing, it's very similar to what Mark's doing. I think, definitely the LinkedIn is great for some of the, you got lenders on there. You got people who are willing to supply money to deals. So, telling people about what you do is critical, I think, on LinkedIn. But I think, one of the things that's not talked about a lot is that you're going to be posting and telling people what you do, and maybe just walking through a deal or whatever it might be. You're just creating content, and you could be either somebody who is someone who is a creator or a consumer. So you got two choices when you're going and scrolling through your phone. You're either creating content or you're someone who's consuming content. And as soon as I heard that was an aha moment for me, where I was like, I'm done just mindlessly scrolling and seeing what other people are doing with their lives. I want to be someone who's going to be putting stuff out there with the real idea of, hey, I want this to either inspire, or I want this to be something that's going to get me to my next deal, or it help me reach, that next point. And I think if you use that as a tool and what you're using it for, it makes it a lot easier for you to, have the confidence to do that. But yeah, Instagram is a great spot for us. Facebook's a great spot for us. Of course, we have the Upstate New York Real Estate Investors Group. It's another great spot where we like to post stuff onto, but just start small, start with one, or maybe your, Facebook, Instagram, and just tell people who you are, what you do, and what you're looking to accomplish. Man, I'll tell you right now, you do those three things. You tell people who you are, what you do, and what you're looking to accomplish. So many more people will know what you are trying to do, and that will attract whatever that is that you want, I believe, into your life by just having those three things down.
That's so good.
People don't even have that, Gabe.
I feel like what happens is we overthink the process.
Yeah.
Right. We overthink, hey, Marty has this cool graphic. Right. Mark, did you see that guy? Did you see Ed Milet, or did you see Grant Cardone? Did you see the sound? Did you see look, guys, when we first did this podcast, we didn't have like a intro video or anything like that was all set up. We were just doing this, right? Let's just do it. And then we got an intro video, and then we did, let's tweak this. And then, hey, I need a better photo, by the way. Yeah. Let's get a better photo, and let's move this over here. Like, it just takes time. And I think if you don't, again, this got to go back to the longevity of this thing. If you don't really believe in yourself that you're going to be doing this for a long time, it's easy to overthink all of it and go, well, it's got to be perfect. And the reality is just putting the stuff out there going, I'm looking for properties. Like my wife put something out the other day of saying, hey, I'm looking for financing for a multifamily property. We got so many people responding back to us. And I just wanted to see what other type of financing are out there. There's always new packages for financing. And that's the key. If those who don't know about financing, in 3 months, 1 month from now, there's going to be a whole new package. That's the name of finance. All right. Because it's based off of other factors. So what Marty is talking about, he just goes out there and posts some stuff. I mean, he's out there running. Homeboy over here, he lost his phone in the middle of a run. He freaking ran out of batteries in the middle of it. He got lost he doesn't know how to get back home sometimes after posting some of this stuff. I mean, I have seen this guy do so many things, man, that's just like, okay, cool. I just did it. Oh, by the way, I didn't repost because my phone ran out of batteries while I'm running. I got to the flip home, but I wasn't able to record it. I mean, funny stuff, but people remember this stuff. They remember that you're willing to do the work. And that's who I want to do business with. I want to do business with not just a bird dog, but someone who's going to call me up and say, hey, look, I've been looking for a while. This is what I see. And every day they're bringing something. Or maybe a lender, right? Who's like, hey, Gabe, I like what you're doing. And you're always active. You're always doing something. Some of my team is going, Gabe, how do you have time for all of this stuff? I just saw you on another podcast. You're doing a training over here. You're doing this over there. And I'm like, you have to create a momentum beyond what you're already doing. Let's say that again. If you're getting involved, you already have a job, you already have a career, you're doing something to have money to pay for food and your normal life. Okay. That's your life. You have to create a brand and a momentum beyond what you're already doing today. And I think what happens is people don't know the energy that it takes. Like, I'm getting excited even talking about it, because as we go about, like, I did blah, 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 we just start talking about all these things, and you're just like, yeah, how can you not have energy towards something that you enjoy doing? So you have to have energy beyond what you're already doing and create that momentum. It just takes time, but you got to put it in to make it work. It's not just letting time go by and you have your business cards and they're just sitting over there on the shelf. No, it's like they got to be in front of people. You have to be in front of folks, right? And so that is a key thing for me of realizing whenever I want to get lazy sometimes, or maybe it's a Sunday afternoon and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done. I'm ready at like 7 p.m. Kids are kind of chilling out. We're all chilling at 7 p.m. on a Sunday. Like I am ready I can't wait for the week to start. So I just start it. I'm just like, why am I waiting? I'm the owner. Just start the week. Just start sending out the text messages. Right.
Love it.
All right. So that was my take. Sorry, guys. All right. That. So no, go ahead.
Go ahead, Gabe. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, let's give guys some hope. Let's just give the investors and the people that are looking at all this stuff, let's give some hope. What are some of the amazing things that have come out of us building our personal brands in different ways? Like, let's just start naming some of the things that get people like, hey guys, it's not that hard. You got to put some energy into it, but let's just talk about the wins.
I think it's a confidence boost, man. Once you start not really caring what other people say and you're posting stuff anyways, the confidence is insane. And I've said it before, but the more confidence that you have, the bigger risks you're willing to take. And the bigger risks we're willing to take, that's how you hit home runs in this business. That's how you really create, world changing for yourself things in your life. So yeah, I think, we've gotten hard money lenders from doing this. I've had people send us deals that we've made money on. That's enough. If that's not enough, what are you doing? That should be enough for anyone. Right. So yeah, I think it's confidence, guys, just doing it and not caring about the results. You're just doing it for the process of knowing that it's going to be something that does work out in the long run. And at the same time, the things that do come in by doing it are deserved at that point because you put the time in. So that's what I would say, Mark.
Yeah, I would say for me, really, friendship. Look at you guys. I met you guys through the process of out there branding and just growing in general. Is you end up just creating new friends, and you start surrounding yourself more with positive minded people instead of negative people, and you just kind of you take yourself and you grow to another whole level. As you're improving yourself and your brand, you're growing with it, and then you just start growing and you're helping others, and it all goes together. So for me, it's more about friendship, growing, and everything falls into place, just like what Marty was saying. You end up getting deals coming in, get funders, everything just kind of falls together.
Ooh, that was good. I love that. I think that is so good, especially you don't think about those things, I guess. It's so true. I mean, doing that kind of thing, the other people that are doing that, we probably have the same kind of thought process and mindset of go giving, abundance, that there's so much out there for the world for us, and just not that scarcity mindset. So those are the people you want in your life. So yes, Mark is right. You attract those people by doing those things, and that's how these friendships happen. And love it, Mark. Great job. Gabe, what are your thoughts?
Good stuff. Mark, did you have something? No, you're good. Guys, this is amazing. I want to keep going on this because I'm learning a lot just from you guys talking. But we do have to wrap up because we are about to hit our timeline to go on to this. And I think that we just packed this thing out with tons of content and good nuggets for everyone. I just want to remind you to like what we're doing. If you want more, or if you do like what we're doing, hit the like button, subscribe, connect with us. Mark does a lot of stuff. Actually, now he's starting to go more nationwide. He does a lot of stuff in Florida. Marty's upstate New York. I'm in the Texas region, definitely the Houston network region. And then we have Ronnie on here. He does a lot of stuff from Michigan. If you need questions or you need questions answered, if you have anything you want to help your business grow, guys, we're doing this as a give. All right. This is what we're saying. We are just creating a brand as givers to the community because we think that our culture and what we need is more great business owners to help just great nation grow, right? And so that's what we're looking at doing. So to wrap up, you need to create your own brand. You need to grow as a business owner. I love what Ronnie said is evolve, right? And it's training yourself to evolve. Stretch yourself to go out there. Marty, go bigger, go bigger. When is it? When is this event? Oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you.
You're mute.
Oh, sorry. It's July 30th. It's on the Upstate New York Real Estate Investor Group. It's on my website. It's on my website. It's on my Facebook page. So yeah, you'll see all the information.
I think it's in the Real Estate Power Play group as well, so they can check it out there.
Okay,
yeah, I saw it there.
Yeah. Excellent.
Game on. So Peter might be out there taking a look at what you guys are doing. Guys, like I said, this is what we're here to do, to give back. Any guys want to do any closing remarks?
I will do one. Just please, if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to your podcast, like us on the Facebook group, YouTube, wherever it may be, and just share it with your friends. And if you have anything that you want us to go over, just send us a message through YouTube or Facebook, and we'll get to it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, guys. Share this out. Like this message. I thought this was one of our best episodes. So if you thought the same thing, or you leave an honest review, whether you thought it was good or not, leave an honest review on the podcast, on Apple or on anywhere else that you can find our podcast. But yeah, share it out. Put it out on Facebook. Let the world know. Tell your mom, your dad. Come on.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys later. Go big. See you.
Or go bigger. See ya.
This has been another episode of Real Estate Power Play, guiding real estate entrepreneurs to a brighter future. If you liked what you heard, consider subscribing wherever you listen to your podcast, or follow us on YouTube at Real Estate Power Play.